Hey guys, Arjivantes here, and this is my walkthrough of tutorial 7. So in this tutorial, we once again have access to two tabs, the base set and an advanced set. If we look at the advanced set, we see that the units are very aggressive. So Barrier is just a defender, but for the rest of the units, Immolate is even cheaper than Tarsier and attacks for 1 immediately. The drawback is it only attacks every other turn. Electrovore costs the same as Tarsier and does 1 damage immediately, but you also have to pay 1 energy every time it attacks. So in that sense, it is slightly more expensive over time. Shadow Fang actually costs about the same as Tarsier in terms of total attack per resource cost, but it attacks immediately and does 2 damage, so it's even more aggressive. Feral Warden is actually not that great as an aggressive unit. However, it's not that much more expensive than Tarsier, and it has 3 health, so you can use it defensively, and then once it's down to 1 health, you can just attack with it every single turn. And to start the game, our strategy is just going to be to go for Immolites into Shadow Fangs. So I'm not even going to go 3rd Engineer. In fact, I'm not even going to buy 2 drones this turn. I'm just going to immediately buy an Animus on turn 2. This lets me put on the aggression as fast as possible. And I'm just going to go buy 2 Immolites, which immediately will attack for 2 on the following turn. Note that because Tarsiers take 1 turn to construct, they are a bit slow in terms of ramping up, but with Immolites, you get to threaten them immediately. On this turn, I will be buying 2 Tarsiers, because the Tarsiers take 2 turns to construct and the Immolites attack every other turn, so these will actually synchronize together and do 4 damage. So finally, on this turn, I'm going to buy a Immolite, and he finally bought 1 point of damage, so I'm going to have to buy a Rhino just to defend. This is going to be another game where I don't use blue. I'm just going to do as much damage as I possibly can, as fast as possible. And I can attack with a Rhino here, because I can defend by buying a second Rhino. Now in this position, I'm actually going to buy a second Animus, and then an Immolite. The second Animus will allow me to buy Shadow Fangs, which again are just a very, very aggressive attacker. So basically going to do the same thing every turn from now on. I'm just going to buy a Shadow Fang and another attacker. My first Rhino ran out of stamina, so now I'm just going to leave that back on defense. My opponent is still stuck on 1 attack because he has to invest his entire turn on buying defense. This means that I don't need to worry about buying defense myself. Instead, I can just buy the most aggressive units I can afford. And eventually, with my Shadow Fangs, I'm just going to completely overwhelm my opponent. I can even go as far as to buy a 3rd Animus, and buy 2 Shadow Fangs every single turn. Because I bought attacks so early and so aggressively, I didn't really give my opponent a time to actually build up. In sets with a lot of aggressive units, you often don't want to go super high econ. Instead, you want to be the first person to buy attack and put your opponent on the back foot immediately. Alright, I'll see you in the next video.